Ja, Stream ist halt direkt gecrashed, Alter. So my laptop just crashed. Completely. Frozen. Right after we started the stream. I mean, as we all know from experience, that's part of my stream. I was actually waiting for it to happen. I'm good. It's just very, very warm. Very warm. Um, yeah. And besides that, I don't know. I don't really feel like drawing, to be honest. I feel like doing nothing. It's probably the heat. And usually I would like follow the feeling of doing nothing, but I don't know. Somehow I felt I need to stream. So that's what I'm up to. Also, kind of like again, I really don't want it to draw. But sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. What are you doing, Franciscus? Yeah, very hard to sleep. Hey, Billion, welcome to the stream. What's the reference? Right now, I have a few different images open from the Night reference pack from the Graphite Studio pack. I don't know if you know them. So, basically, kind of like draw a night now. I had these guys here, kind of like having a face off, but I did not actually feel like wanted to draw them. I feel like drawing a night again. It seems like I still want to understand a little bit better the armor and everything. Hey Vincent, again. How's it going? Yeah, the stream just crashed. Thank you. It was actually really tough to do, to be honest, because it was super shaky in the car. My dad, who was the person in the drawing, um, usually drives very fast. Obviously, always in speed limit, right? But he drove very fast, so it was kind of like super shaky. And also, I had one of these ballpoint pens. This one here. I don't know if you can see this in the camera here. This pen basically, and it's a very thin tip, and you actually have to have a very steady hand to kind of like draw precise with it. Do I actually have it here? I think so. Here, yeah. So actually, the line, if you compare it, is pretty slim, right? If you, for example, look at the line here I have in the other sketchbook, is a bit thicker. So, and this is actually a 0.3, right? So it's actually even slimmer than this. And also the size on top of that to draw this was also a bit tricky. And also I wanted to use fisheye lens, so kind of like having a curved perspective up here and up here. So yeah, but I actually pretty much was surprised about the result, and I wouldn't say it's the best drawing, but somehow like I got a lot of good responses on this drawing, which was kind of like surprising to me. Thanks, man. Riley, where did I left off here? Shit. Appreciate it, appreciate it. What are you drawing? Do you draw? That's the more important topic here. Are you drawing right now? Hey, Win, how's it going? You draw crabs? Nice. You try to find inspiration actually. Yeah, that's a tough one, but not impossible. Just I made, I would say from just what I'm used to when I have trouble like getting the ball rolling, just starting, just kind of like starting with the drawing and then trying to see what I could feel like drawing today. And often I personally cater to the same type of topics. So I don't know, pirates, cowboys, knights, stuff. But which is good because that's kind of like reflecting me as someone who tries to find his inner child when he's doing drawings. Because my that's something I'm really looking forward to, is like really my inner child. Because I feel it's way more interesting trying to find me as an artist. It's really tough because we so kind of like how I say, Social media is kind of like pushing us so much. This weird feeling of fake acceptance. Yes, of course I watch anime. I recently just started Black Clover. A friend of mine told me it's pretty okay to watch, even though the main character is kind of like this yelling, running around guy, which is a little bit annoying. Um, but I guess the concept of him being the only person in a magical world who cannot use magic and is kind of like the strongest encounter for magicians with this anti-magic is a cool theme, but you can really see that's also a little bit of an older style how they make it, right? Because it's kind of like this older um, animations. What do you watch? How is the course going? Yeah, the course is going. I basically work on the assignments. So my online course I'm working on right now will have a lot of assignments because I actually I actually want that people really when they buy my online course that they're going to have the feeling like, well, I really got better with this. I really learned a lot. This is my only premise for the course. So this is why I'm recently building and kind of like trying and drawing out these assignments, like as I do it for the mentorship class, right? And how like the homework, Francisco's like the homework I gave you guys in the mentorship class and stuff. So kind of like really thinking like how I would explain myself this topic to learn it the most efficient, the most fastest way. So yeah, the course is going, but it's like building an online course. I thought it's a lot of work, but it's actually much more work than I expected. Just the sheer amount of writing I have to do, it's just so much. So recently, I'm kind of like looking more into YouTube videos again, like thinking about how can I improve my YouTube videos, and it's so weird because like when I look at the numbers and then I look on like tutorials how to get better with YouTube videos, how to get more views and stuff. It's kind of like the same game as the last 4 years, me making YouTube videos. I have really good numbers, but I just don't get the views for whatever reason. Like I have a really good retention rate, sometimes like almost 50%, which is really good. But like I just don't get any more views. You know, like for example, the video Francisco's we made last time on your work and on your like growth. It has really good numbers, but YouTube is just not showing it to people. So it's probably not as good as I think it is video wise. So I have to improve it. Now let me draw this curve here. Boom, 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 boom. Black Clover is a good anime. Did you see Vinland Saga? Yes, I watched it until the end. Um, sounds productive. Yeah, it's. I'm usually actually pretty productive. There are a lot of days where I'm like kind of like I'm actually almost every day productive. I have this like thing that I cannot do nothing. You know, it's a bit weird, but I don't know. It's the German in me. Ich muss arbeiten, arbeiten, arbeiten. Is your course intermediate or beginners? It is both beginners and intermediate. And I would say that even for someone who's a bit more advanced, some of the exercises could be helpful. Or if someone would um, kind of like make a better foundation on their work, you know, like basically getting better foundational wise for certain things. I don't want to spoil the topic yet, but yeah. And I want to make fun exercises too, you know, like things that people might have not thought about. Bro, what's up, bro? ChatGPT, lol. What do you mean, ChatGPT? Like, how's the context? I'm searching what to draw for my portfolio. I actually did some sci-fi characters, so I want to change and draw something different. Ah, okay. Yeah, I actually have an editor. But right now it's kind of like figuring out what does actually make sense for the editor. Like the thing is like usually at the moment I do a lot of drawing videos, but they're very long. So it's kind of like a nightmare in terms of production value because I have to upload like 4K videos. I were joking about the writing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the chat GPT thing is obviously something that I am absolutely aware of, but it also is very general, right? So if you ask it for something, it answers very, very general. You can, of course, um, like make it or ask it a bit more specific, but at the end, it only can give you, I mean, it can give you starting ideas, right? Yeah. I think it's also like kind of like I wanna teach in my style, you know. So don't let me mess up this proportion here. Hey Link Magic, welcome to stream. How's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So if you have to draw a chainmail, best tip I can give you: draw a little S. S shapes and make them overlap, then it looks like chainmail. Fake chainmail. Shit, I should have made a video about it. No, I just spoiled the tip. Damn. Can you guys actually hear the air condition? Because it's pretty loud. I just need to keep it on. It's so warm. Okay, now this looks okay. Again, I should have made a warm-up drawing. Not as loud as mine. Alright then. Never mind. What's up with the music? Why is the music so weird? Specific question coming up. I'm busy doing my portfolio and very eager to also develop my own stories and build unique worlds. How much would you value that, or should do fan art? So first of all, don't do fan art. Fan art is fan art. Has nothing to do with a professional portfolio. If you already work as a professional, then you can do as much fan art as you like, you know, and then you can fill your portfolio with that if that's your goal for whatever professional reason, without any judgment or anything. Yeah, right. That sounded very judgy, but like when you're professional, you can do that. But if your goal is to show that you can work in a pipeline and you can work as a professional, you have to show that you are able to develop ideas, develop stories. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to make your own stories. You can take an existing story and give it your own kind of like visual, visual world, you know, like visual taste. Like this is how I envision, I don't know, Jack and the Giants. This is how I envision um, uh, any type of story you want to show. But yeah, that like what, for example, what we do in the in the projects in my program, we start with kind of like a project right away in the first month. So people who come into the mentorship, they have a minimum duration of 3 months, and in the first 3 months, we start right away with projects, and we start with also learning how to develop ideas. And I find developing an idea or being able to develop an idea is a absolute necessary skill for any artist, not only illustrators or concept artists, for any artist, because you have to find out, okay, how can I use inspiration to cater to come up with my own ideas. This is very, very important, I think. So yeah. So to answer your question, you should focus on making a simple. So it's about communication, right? It's often get forgotten. It's about communication and communicating your idea. So how well is your idea or ideas get communicated? So don't make it complicated. Take a simple story, take a simple problem of the world you are designing things for, and then design it and execute that. I hope that is kind of like answering your question. So let me draw this arm. Figuring out the angle which is working here. Ähm, Was, Franziskus? Ich habe nicht aufgepasst. Aber du kannst auch Franziskus fragen oder dich mit ihm mal austauschen, weil der macht das nämlich auch gerade. Und vielleicht, wenn er Zeit und Lust hat, kann er dir auch noch ein paar bisschen Input geben. shit freehand. Okay, how do I fix this? Okay. Got this. Bye bye. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. Warum machen Sachen? Gute Frage. Gute Frage. Ich nicht beantworten kann das. Schwierig Frage, sehr komplex. Schlaue Menschen haben versucht, diese Frage zu beantworten. Sie auch nicht geschafft. The really important question is, should I go to the gym and train chest today even though it's 30 degrees? Or should I run? Should I play some golf later? And I like need to reward myself for being here drawing, since I really don't want to draw today. Leg day it is. Leg day. Actually, I still have soreness because of my last leg training 2 days ago. So I think that wouldn't be the most efficient and wisest decision to make. And I also trained back, so I think the only thing is really like something upper body like, you know? Do you know artists who didn't do art study and work in cartoon or video game industry? I know a lot of people who do not actively do any studies on the side. They just get used to what they have to do for work, and that's all they do. And that's also okay. Or is the intention behind your question more of do I need to study to get into the industry? Well, you have to at least understand what you're doing, I think. If maybe you don't need to study it like to the death. It really depends on your personality and how your brain works and how you learn, because everyone is really different. And because something works for someone else doesn't necessarily mean that it works for you, right? But nevertheless, you have to understand your subject. So again, it's kind of like convincing people you're good at this, pay me money for this, trust me. It's always this kind of like exchange of trust. But you have to think about it. Like, would you pay someone 300 euros for one day of work to draw you something or paint you something, right? Like, how big is value in the thing the person is doing for you? So this is really the interesting question. And the biggest problem I see that a lot of people, they're just not as good as they think they are, because maybe, I don't know, because of upbringing, or like I see the problematic point in people, like when you grow up as this kid who always did art, and people around you always say like, oh, you do so well, stuff is so good, blah blah blah, and then like kind of like you get humbled very fast by the industry, which has very high quality and in every kind of like part, and there's so many people doing it, so it's very daunting. So, I think it's just a matter of selling yourself as a professional, showing, okay, I'm good at what I'm doing, and then also like showing that you're good at what you're doing. Like this kind of like fake it until you make it doesn't work in this industry. This is why nobody cares about degrees and nobody cares about educational background and stuff. It just matter what you can do, like hard thing. I couldn't pay for art studies, so I learned by myself, but it's difficult to find a job. Yeah, so that just means that maybe your skill level is not there, or you haven't found the right job yet. Right? I don't know your portfolio, but um, for most people, also like a lot of people look way too early for jobs. They don't realize that again they're not good enough, or they maybe just they kind of like get hot feet and they really want to get going and stuff. But I think what you really should do is try to humble yourself as much as possible. Always think like it's not good enough, and then after a while, getting someone who is the level you want and the level you want to achieve, ask the person, is this good enough to get a job? And if this person gives you an honest opinion or honest feedback or something, then you may be smarter than before, right? And then you know, okay, I need to work on this, I need to work on this. I mean, I think that's also the reason why stuff like mentorship program work, because people go to people who know better and they get information, and the people who have the money to pay that, they pay the money, because why not getting a kind of like boost in your education if you have someone who can exactly tell you what to do? Of course, it always needs time. Like, it's not a cheat code in that sense, because you still have to do the work. But if you're willing to do the work, I mean, you can accelerate very quick. What am I doing? Huge. Like talking and drawing, not my thing. Um, do you have? Well, sorry, I have to. So I have a chance. Thanks, that motivate me. Of course, you always have a chance. I think, again, biggest point of success is not giving up. Just continue doing what you do. always work on that. For my project, I want to add some action shots where the forge and its mechanism are used, but I would need to design also the characters for that, and I don't want to do that. Do you have any idea for that, or should I stick just 3/4 callouts? I mean, what you can do like a placeholder drawing in there, you know, like just like a silhouette. Like if you would look at, do you know infographics where they just show like how the broad silhouette of a person's going through a door or pushes a button or something. Um, that you could do. Just Google infographics and then look for how they solve that. And then, I mean, we did do that in concept art where we sometimes just draw in like a silhouette just to give scale and stuff. Otherwise, I would say, I mean, depends on how close the shot is. If it's a mid to close range shot, then it's kind of get difficult. But also, if you just think about the story and the context of the story, you could just think about the most simple design ever, you know? Yeah, I mean, silhouette always works if it's really about just the mechanism and everything, right? And people see that you're not a character designer if you just focus on the environment stuff, so no worries about that. Also, no one is kind of like looking at the characters if you are applying for an environment design. I mean, it depends. Of course, they look at everything, but I think you know what I mean, right? By the way, is this? I'm actually not sure if that is actually working. Is this alert box working? Let me test it. Oh yeah, it's working. Okay. No, I think also that most people really overthink the whole process of getting a job. The problem is that you try to do something over years and years, and you're really like so keen and focused, and then it becomes this thing which is almost unbelievable to achieve. But at the end, you just need to find one person who gives you a try, a chance, and you have to give everything, prove yourself, do a good job, and then the ball is already rolling. I mean, at least that, how was it for me? You always have to prove yourself again, convincing someone to pay you for this. I mean, I don't ask people to, I don't know, here buy my drawings or whatever. I don't expect that. Because I feel like they look like shit, so I need to improve much, much more. This is why I'm doing it. And also because it's fun. But I would say like 95% of stuff I create, I would say it's, you can throw it in a trash bin. If it worked for someone else in a production value, that's okay for me. I don't mind if the person pays me for working for them. That's okay. If it's to solve a problem or to build a product or something, I'm cool with that. That's I'm hired for. Best case scenario, people come to you, you know? Best case scenario, you focus only on yourself, only on your skills. Produce, 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 and not try to go out, try to promote yourself. Just let your work promote for you. And if your work is good, people come to you. That's always a good indicator. Have you ever burned yourself out on art? Yes, of course. Hi Max, how you doing? Yes, of course, absolutely. Um, more than a few times, I would say. Let me see if I can actually zoom out a bit with this one here. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Yeah, absolutely. So kind of like 3 times, I would say, at least. Um, especially working in production over years, working a 40-hour job, which is never just 40 hours, and then having the feeling, oh, I need to do something on the side. I need to still work on my art craft. That kind of like burned me out. I think the first time it was also this sprint of learning art in 4 years, studying industrial design, getting into a studio. It was really like a sprint, and then being in the studio for a year, then you have to prove yourself as a junior, um, and that kind of like, wow, it took so much energy, and I really had to learn to take breaks and stuff, and it's still not easy for me to take breaks because I get the feeling like I need to do something, I need to be productive, which is kind of weird, because yeah, art should come from impulses and maybe feelings or maybe emotions. Um, but yeah, so I would say definitely watch out for this, because also, oh, I just see that I'm actually so small on the stream. Anyways, um, also we have a lot of people I'm teaching who are also burned out because we work on projects over months and they work their butt off, to say it nicely. Um, but then somehow they fell a little bit in the gap, and that's like, we are human beings, right? Like, we just have energy for a certain amount, and it's all about that energy control. How well do you deal with your energy, and do you actually do something to get energy back into your system? Because this is what we often don't do. We just take and take and take, and then we are surprised when we don't want to do it anymore, right? I mean, again, I didn't want to draw today. Like, I kind of like abused stream to make me draw. And if I finish this drawing here, then I'm already okay with it, because I'm kind of like, again, I didn't want to draw today, but I do my 1 hour of drawing. And this is also a simple trick, like, people always think they need to draw like 10 hours per day or something, but you don't. If you just try to draw like 30 minutes a day, and that's just the very simple goal, then you can always, yeah, then even on a bad day, and you will have bad days, that's for sure, then you will always be sure that you are going to draw something. I was always like kind of like surprised by people like Kim Young-ji that they could draw so much on such a long time, but I think everyone is kind of like sometimes have this kind of like burned out feeling. Could you provide example of ways to restore energy? Uh, hey Danila, welcome to the stream. Yes, of course. Everything that, first of all, doesn't cost you energy, right? So, for example, you meet a friend, but this friend tells you all about their problems, tells you all about how mad they feel, how sad they are, everything is so bad in their life. And you kind of like just listening to them, it's kind of like exhausting, right? So this is nothing that gives you energy back. But if you, for example, meet a very good friend who's kind of like asking you how you are, you have nice conversations, you have good time sitting at a river or something, like just looking at the water, and that kind of relaxation can give you energy. Or if you if you do any activity which can kind of like also clears your mind, so doing sport or something where you really have to focus just on being active, It's really helping. If you going to do something with your family, walks, going to the forest. Like I, for example, like walking through the forest. Probably because of my upbringing. Um, that's kind of like nature. Kind of like always gives me energy back. When I go on a hike with my father for a week, when I come back, I have creative energy for at least 4 weeks. Also, sometimes it's going away from your active environment. Like trying to not trying not to be at home all the time, trying to go out. That's something that could help. Or do completely different activities, or doing something new. Sometimes it's also great to do something completely new, what you never did before, like learning a language, trying to learn a new skill. Yeah, nature is really good for energy. I absolutely agree. Also believe that's kind of like taking bad energy and kind of like restores this stuff for you. But yeah, energy management is like something which is very, very important. Okay, let me quickly figure out where to put this. I started powerlifting again. Comes to my mind another. I mean, that's a great thing. Like, that's a good example. It, like you do something which is kind of like competitive. So you have a goal. So you're not just like doing it randomly and you stick to it. This is why you need a goal, right? To stick to the thing. Um, but then also kind of like make you think about it. And then often in life, we have a lot of parallels and things, right? If you get better with music, or if you, for example, try to be a better musician, sorry, um, then there are these parallels in being creative, writing music. I think there's like a lot of stuff which where our brain is using the same kind type of like areas. So yeah. Oh, you have a new cartoon idea. That's good. Good that's helpful. really like the draw on the left. That pose and style is really cool. Oh, thank you. Um, it's also inspired by these, using the reference pack from the Graphite Studio. I think it's called Space Cowboy or something. I also had an idea for in the comic actually, and I also drew a page. I think it's kind of like my first comic book page I ever drew in the sketchbook here. It just felt like a new project which I will never finish. So I'm kind of like, okay, I just tried it. Do you think you shouldn't put in a CV in your job application when there is nothing related to the art industry? You mean if you worked in a cafe or something, and then you mean if that's like kind of like not interesting? Hmm. Good question. I think if you didn't work in anything which is kind of like close to you applying to, then just put your education. You know, I think they're going to see if, and it also doesn't change anything. You know, if let's say you put it in, like what does it really change? Like I had to work in a cafe to to like get money and to do art or something. Like I don't know. It's I would always ask like, does it make the application better or not? You know, have you seen the new Dune trailers? No. Are there new Dune trailers? I haven't seen it. You mean like complete way until? No, I wouldn't dare. That's kind of like outdated, isn't it? I mean, who care? Who really cares about? Like, keep in mind, Francisco's people they don't have time. They really don't have time. They just read this stuff. They look for the necessary information. So give them necessary information. Some studios get over 1,000 applications per month. Do you think they read every little bit in there? Probably not. And then you come with your essay of life. Good luck. Once I was a little boy. I wanted to be an artist. And then I found concept art. And then I thought to myself, this is nice. I want to do this. And then I went to the bookstore and I bought a book about concept art. No, I haven't seen the trailer. I will watch it later. Thanks for mentioning it. Recruiters understand that you need to work non-art related jobs before getting into the. Probably, yeah. I mean, they probably do. But again, like, what's the necessary information, right? What do they really need to know? I would say anything that's kind of like related to what you try to do. Anything that kind of helps you in your application. Is that also a good point? Like, does it help you to get the job? I really don't want to draw. Ain't changed about that, but I still draw. The art gods are satisfied. Even Zapata will be proud of me. I hope so. I hope Steven is always proud of me. It's the only reason why I'm doing this is to make Steven proud. You are proud of me. Oh, Max. Appreciate you and your existence. This universe. See you, Franciscus. Enjoy your evening, buddy. Drink enough water. Immer. Sehr gut. Sehr gut, sehr gut, sehr gut. I messed up the sword. Damn. Happening live. Kind of look like he stabbed himself. Shit. Happens to the best, I guess. Okay, folks. I think that will be it for me today. So, since I just used you guys to motivate me to draw, I am highly thankful for you being here. Chat. But I think it's time for me to stay. So just in case I will leave the stream on the channel, feel free to subscribe, like, or not, do whatever you want. I hope you could draw a bit. And otherwise, I wish you all a wonderful evening or day, wherever you are. And maybe we're going to have another one in the future. There are any requests in terms of streaming topics? In the comments. All right. Take care. Ciao, ciao.